front row. My name is Jamie Lee, and today we are talking Gen V, the latest spin-off of The Boys. And I am chatting with my buddies, my YouTube buddies on the panel who also have their YouTube channels. So make sure you subscribe to them. Their links will be in the description. I'm chatting with Taco, Tyrone, and Marley. How are we going?
Hi.
Fantastic. Wonderful. I can't wait to talk about this with you boys lovers.
I do love boys.
that was the joke, Taco. Thank you.
What's up, guys? I know.
And I do love blood.
I
love blood. I love blood and cum. I mean,
love blood, cum, puking, boys. We got it all.
We love it all.
Oh my god.
We're off to a great start.
Well, it is like if we don't get messed up right away, then we're not talking about The Boys, because The Boys always starts with, all right, what's the weirdest way to murder your family? Period. Blood. Got it.
Right. We are definitely starting exactly like the show did, because the show opened exactly how you would expect, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Marley texted me straight after, and he's like, well, as if having your period wasn't bad enough. Like, as if starting your period and finding out that blood comes out of you wasn't enough. There you go.
Yeah.
Murder your parents.
I just want to clarify. I don't have periods. I have man periods, but it's just like,
I was gonna ask, was your first period?
But from the females that I do know in my life, it's not the best time of the month when you're on your period. So I'm just like, the fact that the fact that the Gen V writers just made that experience even worse. It's like, I don't know. It's absolutely insane.
She murdered her parents, and she's gonna be cranky all week.
Right?
Jesus, what are we doing? 2000s comedy right now? What is happening? Jesus. No, but like I so one of the things with The Boys that like for me was always a criticism. I like The Boys, but I feel like it's just like over the top to be over the top. Yeah. I thought this is a clever way to sort of do that, in the sense of like, this is a coming of age story. That's a very pivotal moment for young ladies. And so, to take that moment, like Marley said, and to make it this horrific sort of traumatic thing in a different sense, where it's like growing up is already traumatic in itself, but to have her legitimately kill the parents, like, that was a fucking awesome way to start. I really loved that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that we
family. Go ahead.
Yes. One of the things that we talked about in our trailer reaction was the fact that hopefully it'll be different to The Boys, because it is obviously a younger generation, because it's a younger cast, but those experiences from being in university and dealing with friendships, breakups, drugs, alcohol parties, like, the university experiences are very different to the adult ones that we see from The Boys. So it definitely started with that. But not just talking about the first scene of the first episode. What did you guys think of the entire 3 episodes? Like, did you enjoy them, or what do you think?
Ooh, so all of them at once? All right, here we go.
Well, we're running on borrowed time, Taco.
Sure, yeah. I mean, overall, for me, like, you guys know, like, like I said, The Boys, I was sort of like, not out, but I kind of was like, okay, I need a little bit more personality or something. I feel like what they did well in this, in The Boys, they feel like caricatures, right? It's like the French guy, like the big macho black guy, like the nerdy sort of guy. This, they feel more authentically like people, which is kind of cool. And like the fact that we know that The Boys universe already, this is something I've been talking about with Marley. It's like, when you have the worlds already established, you don't have to do that world building. It's easier to play with storytelling and actually like plot points and characters, because you already know the world that they're in. One thing that I really liked was the main actress, Marie, Jaz Sinclair, the black girl, the main actress. She tells the other kid, Andre, she's like, I don't even fucking know you, dude. Like, I'm not going to go on this hunt for you. Typically, you see in storytelling, we have this moment, we have to follow each other. And she's like, dude, I don't know you. I really liked that, because I thought that was like a cool sort of different way to than like what you sort of expected. What did you all think of that?
Go ahead, Marley.
I
want to piss everybody off after everybody else gets to talk.
No, I actually appreciated that a lot. I appreciated it a lot that like the characters felt a lot more grounded and a lot more real. And another thing that I like Marie as well. But I stated, like, on the preview show, everyone should go watch that and give Jamie a like and subscribe, is that what I got from the trailer is that the show is going to be a lot like Umbrella Academy, and like for these first 3 episodes, you can definitely get that. And like one of my favorite characters was the trans character, which I think is like pretty much a straight callback to call out to Elliot Page, and the fact that they're walking like that very thin line of like mentioning like that character, and I feel like the writers are going to be treating like that character with like with a nice respect, but there's definitely going to be like, because since that's not like a fictional character, it's a real life person that they're calling out and referencing. But I think that the having like the representation of like LGBT like in this LGBTQ are pretty solid like in the show so far.
Something that came to me, halfway through the first episode or probably into the second episode, that almost every character is an issue that you deal with in high school, the power, right? So we already talked about, I can't remember character names yet. I'm sorry, but but the character who is gender fluid. Now, not that that's an issue or a problem, because of course it isn't. But your family and people accepting it is the issue that people who are gender fluid or are trans deal with. So that's gender issues, the power, right?
Sure.
And then we have like eating disorder, the power. So another thing that people have to deal with, but it's literally embedded into it, not like just their personality, but literally their powers. And then you have cutting the power, like literally, depression, the power. And that's what she's going through. Like, I killed my parents and I cut myself, the power. And
but that's not an issue.
No,
like she doesn't see that as a problem.
No, she doesn't see it as a problem. But that's what I thought was actually really interesting of taking these things that a lot of people, probably most of us, go through in high school, and like literally not just giving it as a character quirk, but literally their
ability.
Power. Yeah. And then if you look at Golden Boy, you're looking at high expectations, the power, everyone thinking because you're really good in junior high or in high school, you're going to be amazing in college, the power. And then it was hard for me to go with Metal Guy because Magneto, the power isn't something you deal with in high school, but his is all dad issues. He has the exact same power as his dad. And it's
a legacy character.
He is a legacy daddy issues, the power. And once I got all that down, I go, okay, so let's watch the show. Like once I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. And I think it's amazing. I love that. And like, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're just describing is like, they're those are sort of like the traumatic sort of things that these characters all deal with, and then that's their abilities and it's how it shapes them. I think the real interesting thing is that they weren't born with these abilities. It was given to them, right? Like even like the like, and also that they have these powers, but Vought doesn't consider them all like going to be superheroes. They're like, no, we're gonna use you for this and this and like influence and stuff like that. So that's why I think it is sort of fascinating, because like the gender fluid character Jordan, like that's Vought being like, oh, like these liberals or leftists, they like this stuff, let's make that into a power. And then like, but then also what's her name from The Boys mentioned, she's like, we're not doing that ain't gonna work in the Midwest. And so like that's why like I like it. I like the tone so far. I like how they're approaching it, and I think university is a perfect setting for this too, because people have their own opinions, their own backgrounds, where they come from. So I'm also enjoying it. Jamie Lee, how about you?
I loved it from the get-go. There's only one downfall, and I'll get to the downfall, I guess, later. We'll talk about that. But and it was like the pettiest, tiniest little thing. But yeah, from the get-go, I loved it. I'm so interested in the plot. Like, what do they want with Sam? Like, why specifically that kid? Are they experimenting on him so deeply? And yeah, why in the opposite sense, why was Golden Boy such a prodigy? Like his power, I mean, great. it's okay, but like surely there's other people with other powers. So what does his family influence have to do with things? Or what was his connection with Professor Brinks or whatever? Like why were they so like this? Why was Jordan so like that with him? So yeah, some really interesting things that I can't wait to explore. But yeah, I really like what you said, Taco, because I didn't really think that deep into it. But even thinking about it now with the Jordan thing, like it wasn't even so much, well, it is a gender thing, I guess it still falls under that. But like with specifically, maybe I'm stereotyping here, but Asian parents, they obviously are very typical of wanting boys, you know, and he always put the emphasis on having, you were a boy, you were my first son, things like this.
Definitely.
So it also comes into like a race thing as well that they're touching on. So yeah, I think it's really interesting.
And you know, and to defend you a little bit there too, Jamie, like that's what The Boys in this universe is all about. It is stereotyping. It is sort of tropes. It is sort of like that kind of thing, and like it's a commentary on those sort of things, right?
The comic was a parody. So if you're going to take a parody comic serious, still the roots that you're pulling from are look at Superman butt, look at this guy butt, you know, like so that's why we have to dig into the stereotypes because we're working with parody. Keep going, Tyrone.
Yeah, no, and I was
just trying to tread very carefully. That's all.
No, sure, but that's why I came to defend you there. But I also think we're gonna see that with Andre too, because Andre's dad is sort of the same thing, right? Where he, I'm calling the kid Johnny Blaze. Oh my God, the fire kid,
Golden Boy,
Sam, right? Or
Sam's the son the brother that's getting experimented on.
Luke is the kid, right? Okay, so yeah, and that's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger's like son or something. So that's also sort of fascinating.
I had no idea, to be honest, and then I looked at the credits.
Yeah, so that
I got to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's son flaming uncut dick.
yeah.
So got that on my bingo card. Holy crap, guys! Look at that.
So that also, like you said, Jamie,
flaming cucumber.
like the pressure of being like the son of this person with this legacy falls into that character.
It's literally him. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's going to be
literally his life.
Yeah, but and I think we'll see some of that. I knew from the jump that Andre and Kate would get together, like that little romance there. Where like even though it's his best friend, he goes for the girl. I was like, because that's just like the typical sort of thing too you see in high school and college tropes. It's like, oh shit, drama there. What did you all think about that? Did you think like oh boy, cliche, or is there something deeper there?
I just love the way that she, like, again, very high school, very university, the way that she approached him. She's like, so can we like talk about our intercourse? It's so awkward.
The intercourse line made me laugh. Like, when are we going to speak about the intercourse?
Right.
And straight after it, she's like, intercourse? Like, why did that come out of my mouth?
Right,
like, super relatable. So yeah, definitely fits the tone, as you said.
I think that I don't think it was like, oh no, cliche, even more like, of course, a lot of the shows, oh no, cliche. And whenever I think, oh no, it's going to be cliche, I think next, cool, what are they going to do with it? Like, they take the stuff you already know and then go crazy wild with it. And that's why the Boys is really good. I mean, I get it. Like if you're part of like a 3-friend group and one of them died, you want to, you both want to comfort each other. You both need comfort. And also you're both really hot. So like, why are we not gonna bang? You know? Like,
I'm sad. Let's hook up.
Like you can make whatever excuses you want, Taco. It's fine. You just want to bang your friend.
Either
I'm totally.
Or it's gonna be awesome sex for no reason. Like, whatever.
So it's.
I don't need an excuse, guys.
I'm still I'm in your camp, Taco. I'm still kind of getting used to I'm getting used to the characters' names. It's Andre and Kate, right? That are together.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we like agree that Andre, Kate, and Luke are like something's going on there? Like there's a throuple. Like because I was picking up the way Luke and Andre were like interacting. I was just like, they had some history. Like they were like, I love you.
Marley's
they could be like,
I've seen a couple guys around the block. I know what it looks like.
Guys have told you they've loved you before, haven't they, Marley? You got that extra long hug.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of like the Jamie Tart and Roy Kent from Ted Lasso relationship, where it's just like obviously there's something deeper there that they don't want to know, and it could be like this whole like Taco, you were saying, like the whole like high school problem, like the power. It could be like finding your sexuality, the power.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess what would Kate? Her name's Kate. What would Kate's be? Is the I get everything I want the power? Definitely not the worst one.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like
she is so insanely
Karen the
powerful.
power, like whatever I want, I get, or I'm gonna like force it to happen. The power.
Karen the power.
Yeah.
Can I talk to the manager? The power.
Yeah.
No, she is so like a lot of these characters. I'm like, holy crap, these are like S tier superpowers. Like
they're so
her level
OP.
of mind control is insane.
Yeah.
Even
really good.
even the period blood power, like that, that's traumatic, but it looks cool. Like,
well, it's not always just period blood. Sometimes she does.
Sometimes she cuts her wrists, and then she's having a moment. She just cuts her wrists. So.
Yeah.
A lot of people were complaining about that they didn't really explain the powers enough. Specifically with Marie's one, they were saying like, well, is it iron that she controls? Is it water? Like, what is the elements? And I was like, guys, you guys are looking way too deep into this. Like, this is a freaking
if this
fun
was
time, you know?
Marvel, or if this was
Right.
If this is a superhero role-playing game and you're pitching your power to me and we're making a character and I want it to be balanced, I'm going to be like, cool, what are you actually controlling? But it's the boys. There's a dude who makes his dick bigger. Can he make his hands bigger?
Yeah.
No one cares. No one
No.
asks. Okay, so it just happens, guys.
Yeah, I feel like,
Boy.
and this is a problem, but this is not just a problem for this show. It's a problem in general for like people watching stuff nowadays. It's like people get so deep into theory videos and concepts and tiers and all that stuff, and that it's like you can just enjoy the ride and not have all the answers up front. You know, if we get to the end of the series and we're still confused, where it makes a difference, like, wait a minute, how did she get the iron in that time, but not that time? Where there's a plot hole, sure. But it's like she fucking controls blood. That's clearly what it is. And until we get anything further notice or it's specific, I don't really see the big deal of even going there with that.
And it looks like the blood has to be exposed. We haven't seen her blood bend from Avatar somebody yet. You know,
right, exactly.
I was just thinking that she's like a blood bender or or a dick bender.
It needs to be exposed. Yeah, dick bender. I only control
She doesn't need her powers to do that, but anyway.
Hey, some guys need pills for that. I was gonna say the healing aspect was a really. Can we stop talking about dicks, baby?
Sorry.
The healing aspect I thought was really cool, where I was like, oh, can she control other people's blood? And when you see that can, it's like, holy crap, she's our healer. We got our healer. We got our white mage.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I really liked
cool.
One thing we didn't talk about is the relationship between Emma and Marie, and just even the girls in general. It's kind of that like new age catty thing of like, oh my god, I feel so sorry for you, but let me post this on Instagram thing. I thought that was like a nice little homage to the modern thing we're dealing with. But I like the so far the balance between Emma and Marie. I feel like Emma's the blonde one, her friend. Marie is the black girl. I feel like the relationship between those two
it's starting off really well.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I like that she kind of was like, again, Marie's like, I don't fucking know you, dude. I just met you. Like, buzz off. Like, I didn't want to go this stupid thing. You made me go. I was peer pressured. And like Jamie Lee said, we've all gone through this when we're in college or university. You have one beer too many. You have, you go out too much. And so I like the relationship between those two right now. And I'm curious how Marie's gonna get roped in and into like Emma's shenanigans right now.
So is Emma Cricket? I know superhero names.
Little
Cricket's probably my favorite character. 100%.
Because she likes dick.
Not just because she likes dick.
She can get small and
I didn't
ride
say
it.
my crush. My crush is either her or Jordan for obvious reasons.
Can we just get that over with? Like that scene, like how that's what I come for the boys for. CUM come for the boys for. Because it's like just like the gross out humor and just like stuff that you didn't expect to see like on like I know it's a streaming network, but it's like
I can't believe the guy has an orgasm when she's hanging on to him and she didn't get covered. I thought she was like gonna be covered in it, and I was like, they're gonna go there, and I'm like, they didn't go there. Okay,
a total missed opportunity with that.
Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm.
All right, I'm gonna be the grandpa here, even though I'm the youngest. I'm glad that they didn't, because I just feel like the boys from like this is where the boys is losing me a little bit, is like it's too much sometimes. Like it's just detracts from the story. The story itself is so powerful.
That's why people can't watch. My wife won't watch it because it's too much sometimes.
Yeah, and like I don't mind some of it. Like I thought, like so far what I've seen in this show has been tame-ish, tame-ish, where the
period
boys,
blood murder aside.
Yeah, but like it just
when you're small,
Tyrone,
I'm just like. It's too much, and I'm like, it detracts from the actual interesting mystery story that you have going on. And I just I think as long as they keep the main thing, they'll be safe, and it's going to be a good series.
As awful as it is, her hanging on a dick scene actually gave us character development, because you could see that she wanted to just be a normal person and get normal laid.
Exactly.
And that she's more than just her power, and she doesn't love her power. And that's like, I loved every bit of it, and I knew they were going right away when he's like, "So I have a question for you," and it's like, "You want to play with my dick when you're tiny?" Like I knew it right away, but at that point, I didn't know she had to like literally binge and purge the power to get there. And
so that's my point, though, Taco, is like as long as they do that and they're pushing the story, developing, awesome. If it and I'm okay with a couple shock humor, but we don't need it every episode. We don't.
Tyrone is like, I don't like Cricket being covered in cum, but her killing a dude by climbing through their head and climbing throughout their ear.
Totally
I'm
okay.
fine with that.
Totally
I'm fine
fine.
with that.
Totally
Your words, Marley, not mine. I would.
That guy was working a 9-to-5 job. He had kids at home. We should be mourning him.
So what I was going to say, to tag along with what you were saying, Tyrone, with the girl friendship thing, is we mentioned in the trailers that it very much felt like a crossover between, as we said, Umbrella Academy, but also Wednesday vibes. And I get that, like Enid and Wednesday, same thing, like two different people, two different worlds, but very much connected, which is really cool. And with what you were talking about, Taco, about Little Cricket, and you liked that scene as well and liked her development. Same thing. I feel like everybody kind of expected when she went small that she would be like Termite from The Boys, and she'd go in through some parts that we don't want to see go in and do the same thing, like repetition.
What do you mean we don't want to see?
I specifically don't want to see, but everybody else might want to see that explosion. But anyway, like they're not repeating themselves, and it's not too predictable. As you said, the story's interesting enough that when them shock moments are in, you're like, it's not taking away from the fact of how interesting the story actually is, in my opinion, anyway.
And I'm going to be a little messy here. Every time I see shows like this, I just go, oh, look at Marvel over there crying in their corner. Those losers over there. Like this is just, this is a perfect example, even if they didn't have the gruesome stuff, where it's like, this is how you tell a story. You get us, like, tell me what their background is. How do they get to where they are? Their trauma, their hurt, right? And then tell me about the world that they are in. What are the rules of their world? How do people exist in their world? And then from there, insert a problem. And that very simple premise is what The Boys and Gen V does so well to me in such a short amount of time. They have an hour there, but there's so many different characters that you get introduced, but it doesn't feel loaded. It doesn't feel like people don't get enough time on screen. It's so well balanced. And I think, going forward with Marvel, like that's something that they got to definitely work on, because there's a really bad imbalance of screen time, I think, over there compared to something like this.
They threw in a line there that attacked the very first thing that we got from the TV series was obviously WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
That was the first. Mm-hmm. And they took a shot there when that like actress girl was talking about her being on a show, and she's like, oh, it was like something plus. I don't want to say Disney Plus, but something.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's just a show about, a superhero that's grieving, and it's about, and she's living in like a 70s sitcom. And I was like,
I totally didn't
do
catch
my
that.
girl like that.
Oh yeah.
WandaVision's like the one that was good. Like WandaVision,
right? It was the best one. But again, that was taking a shot at the fact that, like, that's in my opinion anyway, that is the downfall of this superhero genre, that there's too much of it. Like when the TV series started coming out, they're just cramming like 3 movies a year plus 4 series a year, and it just feels overloaded, which is why
this feels so refreshing. No, but that's why this feels so refreshing was my point. Like because to give my overall sort of what I think about it. Like I only brought Marvel in to bring that context of like I was just
Sorry,
like even going into you brought us right back on track. I think going into this I was like, oh god, am I gonna like this? Am I gonna want it? Like, do we have enough superheroes? But I think it does. Like, it's super fresh, super unique, and I definitely want to watch next week.
One thing that I would like to add on to like the whole like cattiness that you mentioned, like Tyrone and Jamie Lee, is that like the one thing I really loved was like the dialogue like between those two, and I mentioned like Umbrella Academy, and like I feel like there's like just like sprinkles of Umbrella Academy and also like some Riverdale in there as well. Like it's like this is how teenagers talk, but in a way not really, because teenagers aren't writing the show, and I kind of love like that, just kind of like them grounding like these characters, but also like these characters are also doing like absurd and obscene things. So for them to like kind
topical
of like
and modern,
and like I will just say too that like most of the Gen Z kind of like content that have been out, like bodies, I've always found those to be kind of cringe. This is the like Gen V is. It feels like it's just right up my alley at this point. Yeah.
It doesn't feel too cringy. It doesn't feel like it's like, hey kids, you know, that kind of thing.
I also like, this is the vibe I'm getting off of, and it kind of is like what Euphoria did too, of it's not really going for this is how teenagers act. It's more of this is how teenagers have always, you know, in a way have acted, but now it's just through these lens of a newer modern, like, you know, of course, Euphoria, that kind of stuff doesn't just happen at high school. You know, like the idea was let's just do hyper drama in high school format. And I kind of like it when it's not trying to do the Steve Buscemi, like, hey, fellow kids crap.
Yeah.
And, I like it that there's no 40-year-old actor trying to be a 16-year-old or whatever. Is this supposed to be college or high school?
I think it's college.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Because
it's God you like.
Yeah. In she's a freshman and she's definitely not 16. So that makes sense.
So was there anything that you guys didn't like in it? Like I said I had one thing that I was a bit petty about. Anything that you guys
I was surprised they got rid of Clancy Brown right away, because he's one of my favorite actors of all time. Brink is Clancy Brown. Besides that, I'm really freaking happy with these first 3 episodes.
I mean,
I don't have anything negative really. I mean, I feel like all my negativity is going to be answered later on. So like, it's not like like Secret Invasion where the decisions they made bother me. These decisions they don't bother me. Like I'm ready and I'm interested, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the point of a pilot episode or 3 pilot, which by the way I hate, but that's a different conversation, is just to gain interest, introduce us into the world and the characters, and they executed so well with that. Him dying it stinks, because you're like, oh, he's such a good actor and you want it. But when a show takes that sort of risk or jump, you're like, whoa, this high budget, you know, well-known actor is out the door already. You got my attention, because that means no one's safe, right? And so, like, I think raising the stakes up front, giving us different personalities, giving different sort of high school, college, like, traumatic things for people to relate to, but keeping it grounded, not being, hey, kids, like, it all just worked really well. It was a perfect cocktail, just mixtail of things, and I have no complaints. I really don't, and this is someone who was not sold on this show. I wasn't sold on it.
I agree. I think it's a very strong first 3 episodes, like first 3 episode pilot, and I think it introduces you to pretty much all the characters, and all the characters like I'm liking on screen. I guess like the one issue that I do have with it, like leading into the show, they were teasing that we would see characters from The Boys, like in the show, like the Deep. If this is like it like the Deep is in like these first 3 episodes, but just kind of like they used like I'm pretty sure they used footage like from The Boys.
And
if this is the cameo that I'm getting, I'm not about that.
Oh,
like,
I am about that.
Really?
I don't want them in here.
I don't.
I want it like.
I want it separate. Like, this is a separate universe. Like, it's like these are characters that are living in the boys universe. If you're gonna have like a cameo, it's got to be a legit cameo. You're not. Don't reuse footage. Don't reuse. Footage.
I don't think the Deep was
disagree.
reused because he was doing a eulogy for Brink, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean,
I
like,
like the balance of that. Like, they're throwing in little Easter eggs here and there.
Yeah.
Like, there was Queen Maeve posters, Black Noir
Yeah.
posters. They mentioned,
I agree.
I think Homelander was even in it. Like, he said something on one of the info commercials, like, "I'll protect you, kid," or son, or something like that. Like, they're using these characters that we know in a way without it being like depending on these characters.
Yes.
Like,
It's
they're
from
setting their own characters.
It's too much
propaganda.
wink and
Point of
nod. It's too much wink and nod for me, where it's
Well,
like,
I like
oh,
that
remember
it's
what
from-
universe we're in? And I'm just like,
I like
It's from the
that.
point of view of the kids, and that's what I liked. Is if we meet them, then it's gonna break the rule that because the world of the boys doesn't know the 7 are all monsters.
correct.
So they have to keep them up there and just look down, and every once in a while, Homelander goes, "Hey, I love milk," or whatever the hell he says.
No, I was just gonna say, Golden Boy sort of alludes to that. It's like, this is not the world that you think it is, and like he sprinkles that little tease there. But I think this is how cameos should be. Like, again, I don't want to talk about that other
save it for
company.
the last
I don't
episode.
I don't want to talk about that other company the way they do cameos over there. But the way that they do cameos, it's just like, hey, this is in the front row, but now Tyrone is featuring from the Circle Club, and he's gonna get his whole episode and run with it, and
whatever.
and so you know what and like
You're
so-
right. We do have too much Tyrone.
Yeah, this is the other franchise that you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, but like Taco said, like it's for the kids. You can see that the kids are like idolizing them, and they don't quite get it yet. But Marley, to defend your side here, I think like if it becomes too often we getting that, or it's not like an Easter egg or a wink, then or it's happening too often where it detracts, then I'm out on that too. But I think so far they've had a good balance for me
I
personally.
reckon too. Yeah.
No, I'm good where they are right now. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Tyrone's right. So
No.
Yeah.
No, I was defending you. I was defending you.
Yeah, I
was
know. I'm just
defending
kidding.
you.
Yeah, and we all know who's always right here, so it's fine. You guys battle it out, but the queen's right here. Anyway, backing on to what
She's
you were
always
saying,
right.
Tyrone.
Me and Tyrone are always left.
Yes, that's right. I can leave that joke in.
Oh God.
We all
That's
got
a
that
nod.
one.
I love that we make nods to a vid
A
that
video
got
that no one
taken
will
down
ever see.
that
Yeah.
no one saw
I know.
YouTubers sitting there like, ha ha ha.
because the government made a really good, smart decision.
And we love our government.
We love our government here.
Backing on to what you were saying, Tyrone, I think that what they do a really good job of by including the adults is by using Andre's dad. So Andre's dad is definitely doing the dirty. He's in on the 7. He knows what the goss is, and they can include that sort of adult sort of view
Perspective
from the actual boys. Yeah, that perspective from Vought and from the actual boys series through him. So I thought that was a really cute way of doing that too.
Can I say one quick thing about Ashley?
No.
So Ashley Barrett is a monster. She is an absolute evil witch from the boys. And every time she's on screen, I'm just like, I want to just choke her. She's so evil. And it's so fascinating. She is.
Choker.
I'm pretty sure
But it's
she was siding with Maeve in the end there, so.
No. God, did you see how she was in like the 30 seconds she was with like the headmaster? She was so just like, you're
Take
gonna
me
do
off
what the...
speaker.
Right, yeah. She's so
You know
evil.
it's serious
But
when
what's
you get off speaker.
Take me on speaker. Is the genocide going good? Make sure no one knows about the genocide. Thank you. Bye.
What I was gonna comment on is the power dynamic and hierarchy within the boys universe and Gen V. It's obvious. It's there, and I love it. Like Ashley has so much power, but as soon as Homelander walks in the room, nothing. And they do such a good job of that. So I'm curious how the power dynamics will be shown in this show as well.
The thing that I disliked, which was my petty thing before I wrap it up with everything was so beautiful and great,
Let's hear it.
is Golden Boy. I just expected him being that jock stereotype to have more sass, be a little bit more like Homelander, as in like a bit more of an asshole. And he was really sweet. I was like, oh.
I like that too.
Everything that you just said, and I don't consider it a bad thing. Like I like that the popular kids weren't mean girl jerk jocks. Like Kate is definitely got that mean girl thing, but she came off really nice. Like all these 4 popular kids actually seemed like they were decent humans, which they never do in these kind of shows. Because the nerd writers who write it were all bullied in high school, so they usually write the jocks as jerks. Sorry,
Yeah.
I talked
Yeah.
over Jamie.
No, that's what I was saying. I just wanted a bad boy and I didn't get a bad boy. So that's my only downfall.
Well,
But
Golden Boy wasn't corrupted yet, so he's still.
We didn't have time. Yep.
Could we just go around real quick and just say who our favorite character is so far?
Cricket, Jordan and Cricket.
For sure, I like Jordan,
Jordan's
and I like Cricket and Marie, and that's the women in the show stand out to me. They're huge. Like they're fantastic so far. I'm loving them.
So huge, but yeah.
I like Andre so far. I think Andre's got a pretty interesting arc that if the writers explore that it could be pretty interesting. And then, like I mentioned, I forget her name, but the trans character, superhero. I think that I would like to see how they explore that, especially in the show. And also, it's not necessarily a character. I'm interested how they tie the show into season 4 of The Boys, because that's next year, right? Like,
mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Like, yes, that is the next one.
Yeah, but I'm interested how they actually like tie it in at the end. So
yeah, it's taken place after season 3 because we know that they were talking about. Well, they weren't talking about it. Starlight did leave the 7 after that confrontation with Homelander, and they sat around the table in their like little therapy session. And one of the boys was like, "Oh, I feel comfortable talking about this now that Starlight came out, and I can express myself," or some dialogue. So it's happened after she left. So definitely after season 3. So it'll tie in probably season 3 to season 4, which I really like. I think that's really good.
Yeah, it just feels like a proper spinoff. It just feels like like this is its own thing, but it connects to the universe. But you don't need to have watched like 3 seasons prior. It's working so far. So I'm excited.
All right, well, that was a really good chat. I can't wait to chat about it every week on our panel and talk about how deeper this show goes. Deeper. That's all we have to say. Make sure you subscribe to these guys. The links will be in the description, and we will see you on the next episode of our panel with Gen V. Bye.
Peace.